Hello everyone, my name is Swapnil. I am an ACSM certified personal trainer and an ACE certified rehab specialist. Today I'm going to talk about speed work and periodization for marathoners. This could be varied because I'm going to give you a general idea of how to train and how to work on your speed work and how to work on your periodization. I am going to talk about everything in detail, but since there is a variety of audience today, I'm going to distribute it in three categories: beginner, an intermediate, and an advanced. So let's get into it. Okay, so let's talk about speed work first. Okay, why speed work? Like most of the people who don't train for marathon or are beginners don't know why speed training is important for marathoners, but it is really important and it plays a very vital role in your training. First of all, speed work will give you that break from that monotonous marathon routine that you're following for a very, very long time to increase your stamina, to increase your capacity. So, yes, speed work will give you a little relief in that area. Plus, it is great for running economy. So, for example, I'll tell you what happens is the amount of oxygen consumed at a given pace. That's what is running economy. So that goes up, that increases. Think of it as getting better mileage from the same amount of fuel that you are putting in your bike. It's very, very simple, very, very basic. But yeah, that's how speed work works. There are different aspects for training for speed work as well. If you talk about training, then I would include mobility, flexibility, strength training, lung capacity, power training, isometric training, unilateral training, so many training techniques that we can include. Okay, let me go through it one by one. Mobility training. Mobility training is basically having good range of motion through all your joints. So for example, if you have a shoulder, uh, if you can completely rotate it without any problem or without any pain, that is called a good range of motion or a full range of motion at your shoulder joint. Like that only, you should have good range of motion at all your joints in order to make sure that your joints are hydrated, well hydrated. There's a certain amount of liquid that goes through when your joints are good and mobile. Then comes flexibility. It is very, very important to stretch every day after your runs, before your runs, to minimize the risk of injury. As long as your muscles are flexible, you will have less to no risk of injury in that area. Okay, so make sure that your flexibility sessions are on point. Do them every day. It's very, very important. Then comes strength training. Now, people will say, why do we need strength training for marathoners? But strength training is super essential. You make sure that your legs are strong enough to take the impact every time you run. So your knees, your thighs, your shoulders, your core, your ankles, everything has to be strong enough to take the impact on a long run. Marathon is all about endurance. So endurance trainings and lung capacity is a very, very important part of your training. So lung capacity becomes very, very important. You can take some swimming sessions for increasing your lung capacity. Those are great. You will enjoy the change from your workout pattern also, and that will help you build up your lung capacity as well. Then comes power training. The power is basically for the torque that you need when you want to pace up, when you want to change your speed in the middle of the run. It is very, very important to be able to train your muscles in a way where you can generate a certain amount of torque right in the middle of your run. So it is very, very important, very, very vital to do your power training. It can include stuff like full body exercises, maybe box jumps, maybe high jumps, snatches. There are so many things that you can do for power generating exercises. Then comes isometric training. Now, very less people know about isometric training. Isometric trainings are generally related to sports, but it's great for marathon runners as well, as it makes sure that all your small muscles, all your supporting muscles are also recruited in your training. So All these supporting muscles are very, very important for you to when you go for a very long run. Isometric training basically ensures that most, like maximum muscle fibers are recruited to perform those exercises. So all the small muscle fibers, all the supporting muscles, all the small muscles, all the big muscles, everything is taken care of in the same amount of work, in the same exercise. So something like a wall sit will benefit you the most in such cases. You can go through more isometric training, and it'll definitely benefit you more if you include isometric training in your schedule, in your routine. Then comes unilateral training. It is, if people don't know what unilateral training is, basically training on one side. What happens during the run is, during a marathon, if you're running for like 1.5 hours, half of the time, like 30 to 40 to 50 minutes, you're going to spend on only one single leg. So it's very important for you to train both the legs equally. So whatever imbalances you have, for example, if I'm a righty, I am very, very sure that my left side is going to be a little more imbalanced or a little less strong than my right side. So to make sure that these imbalances are not there anymore in your body, you have to train unilaterally so that these imbalances can be nullified. They don't push you towards any risk of injury. So all these points that I've discussed, I'll repeat them again: mobility, flexibility, strength training, lung capacity, power training, isometric training, and unilateral training. The 7 points to remember. Make sure that you're including all these in your workout routine, and I'm sure that will be a very strong person to beat if you go through all these exercise routines in your workout schedule. Okay, now I'm going to talk a little about periodization. Now, what is periodization? For example, if somebody comes to me and he's a beginner and he says that I want to run a marathon. So I would give him a plan for the next 6 months before he even tries to attempt a marathon. So basically, periodization means you have cycles, like different type of cycles. There are mesocycles, there are macrocycles, there are microcycles. So all these cycles have to be followed. For example, to not speak in a very technical terms, it actually means that you have a plan for 6 months. So in those 6 months, you have to plan for 3 months. So in those 3 months, you have to plan for 1 month. In that 1 month, you have to plan weekly activities. So basically, what happens is when you are planning for 6 months, you have to start from weekly plans to get to a goal which you want to achieve at the end of the 6th month. So this is basically called periodization. You have to know your goal for 6 months, and according to that goal, what you should do today or this week, that you have to plan accordingly. So weekly plans, monthly plans, 2 months plans, 3 months plans, 6 months plans, all these things are a part of the periodization. Periodizations are again very different type of periodizations for different levels. I'm going to tell you about the basic periodization or the easiest periodization part, or something for beginners. I think anybody can follow the basic rules of periodization, even if they are beginners, even if they are intermediate, even if they're advanced. Everybody goes through periodizations, and everybody should plan their events according to the goals that they have, according to the training that they're going to go through, according to the plans that they're going to make about taking care of their workout routines and their diet routines and their injury prevention routines. So basically, what I want to tell you is that periodization has a lot of types. There are a lot of types of periodization. The one very basic type is called linear periodization or called traditional periodization. Now, generally spread out for 6 months, you start with a lot of volume training, you start with a lot of strength training, you start with a lot of volume training to build up your strength and stamina in the initial days and weeks and months. And then at some point in your training routine, you start including high intensity workouts. Now, high intensity workouts help you gain more lung capacity, gain more strength, gain more intensity, gain more volume. So all these things are included in your workout routine, and by the end of this particular periodization, you start training like as if you're training directly for the marathon. That means you're gradually and linearly increasing the intensity of your workout and increasing the volumes of your workout, increasing the output of your workout. So that's what linear is. There's another one called non-linear periodization. It's just the opposite. This is generally for advanced people where they start with very, very high intensities, then they taper it down to low intensity workouts, and they reduce the intensity, they reduce the volume. They work on their injuries, they work on rehabilitation of their injuries, they work on injury prevention programs, and then gradually again build it up to high intensity right before the race. Okay, so periodization also has different type of phases in it. So your body has to get used to running at a certain speed, at a certain pace, in a certain environment, and your body has to be ready for it. So these phases are designed in a way where your body is ready to take that pressure and perform better in those conditions. First one is called a base phase, where you create basic awareness for your body, where you focus on developing your strength, you focus on developing your stamina, you focus on developing your cardiovascular system for this type of training. So a lot of easy runs and a lot of conditioning, a lot of strength training, a lot of isometric training, all these things fall into base phase. Second one is building phase. Building phase is for focusing on specifications. So now in this phase you will start building strength and you will work on your specific workouts. So for example, if you have any imbalances, you will work on them on this phase. If you have any negative points, or if you have any problems, if you have any injuries, if you have any imbalances, this is the phase that you work on them. So now slowly our workouts are going to start to cater to your specific needs. Third one is a peak phase. Peak phase or speed phase, as we suggest, is as the name suggests, you have to be at the peak of your performance level. The intensity of your workout routine or your runs is going to be very, very similar to as it would be on the race day, on the marathon day. So your high intensity workouts, your high intensity runs, your speed work, a lot of hill repeats, a lot of speed and long repeats are going to happen in this phase. So basically you will be at the peak of your physical training and in this particular phase. All these workouts are going to allow your cardiovascular system to expand and help you create that work on a very, very higher level. So this is what the speed phase or the peak phase is all about. Fourth phase is basically tapering phase. So in this phase we slow down a little, we kind of take a little training load off your body. Even psychologically, even physiologically, it's very, very important for your body to relax and then go into a phase where you are ready for the run, where you are ready for the match, where you're ready for the marathon. The rest is for improving your fitness and to improve your cardiovascular capacity and to improve your endurance, so that your body is completely well prepped and well rested for your marathon day or for your run day. It is very, very important to go through this phase. If you're not relaxing your body, if you're not relaxing mentally, you will always be fatigued or you will always feel tired. So this phase has a particular importance in our periodization method. So please don't skip this. It's very, very important. And the fifth and the last phase of your periodization should be your transition phase or your recovery phase. So this comes after your run. Of course, after your run, please don't go back to training the same way or in the similar way that you were training for your marathon. There has to be a step taken back for your body to make sure that your body is recovering from the run. Make sure for your body is rested well. Make sure if you have any injuries, please go through the rehabilitation and please give your body that much needed rest that it needs. So this transition phase is also very, very important. Most of the intermediate or beginner athletes literally skip this step to make sure that they are ready for another run. But this will ensure that your body stays in optimum level of your fitness. So please don't skip this phase. 5 phases, we'll go through them again. First is the base phase for building up your stamina, your cardiovascular system and your strength. Second is the build phase, where you start to work on specific areas of your body, of your cardiovascular system. Third is the peak phase. This is the phase where you are going all out in your workouts, where you're going all out in your runs and making sure that your body hits that target where you want to achieve that particular kind of timing, the particular kind of distance that you're looking for. Everything very, very high intensity workouts. Then the fourth one is tapering phase, where you relax your body, where you give your body the time that it needs to stabilize and be ready for the run. And the fifth phase is the transitional phase, where you allow your body to rest completely after the run and make sure that your body is relaxed properly. If you have any injuries, you work on your rehab and make sure your body is in optimum shape. All the best to all the participants. May you have the best run, and I hope that you train accordingly for your next marathon. And all the best for your future. Thank you so much. It was great pleasure talking to you guys.